Hello YouTube and welcome to our fifth 3ds Max tutorial. I wanted to say Unity again. So last time we looked at shell, we created a swan looking plane and a cup. We've done materials on our textures. So let's do, I don't know, some cloth today. That should be a good one to look at. So let's create a basic table. So we've got a bot. In fact, I want a circle table. So we'll create a cylinder in the middle. Create it about that big, up a little bit. That'll do. So let's position it 0, 0, 0. So you've got your X, Y, Z coordinates down here to position it. So it's bang on in the middle. We'll say 30 radius, 4 height. Height segments, we don't really need to mess with those at the moment. Sides, shall I make it a bit smoother? Yeah, 30. There we go. So as you can see, it's a lot smoother now. So we need table legs. So let's hide this. Right click, hide selection. You can also freeze it if you like. Freezing basically means you can't edit it until you unfreeze it. So just unfreeze all. But let's hide it. So hide. So let's create a table leg. What kind of table leg should we create? Let's have a cylinder in the middle. And drag it up. We got one leg. Not very good, but yeah, it'll do. So let's create 4 legs for our table. So let's mess with the heights first to make sure it's even. So radius is 3, 20. There we go. So we'll drag it out to 4 points. Right click, clone, copy, OK. So we'll drag it to this place, make it so it looks even. Select both of them, clone, copy it, OK. And let's rotate it around. But you're not going to get real rotation because it's all mini. So if we take it back, we've still got the clones. Go up here, you'll see angle snap to toggle. It looks like a magnet with an angle on it. If you click that, you'll see nothing happen. But if you go to rotate now, it'll stick to 5s. So we can go to exactly 90 degrees. Boom, there we go. So that's exactly 90. So we can untick that because it gets very annoying after a while. So right click, unhide all. We now get our plane back. So let's drag this up. If we zoom into this one, Alt W to zoom in, we can just position it above the top, just about there. It doesn't matter, it's intersecting. So we've got our table. Very, 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 very miniature basic table. It's not exactly aligned either, but we don't need it to be. That'll do for now. So we need a tablecloth. The best one to use for a tablecloth is definitely a plane. So if we go to the top view and we'll drag our tablecloth on. So we'll just do it from here to about here. It's a big tablecloth. So we'll just move it above it so it's got some room to fall. So there we go. But we can't really see our table while that's there, and we really need to. Unless we look through here, but we won't see what it looks like. So if you click here and press Alt X, it just gives you a temporary view through it. Press Alt X again to it just makes it invisible, it's not frozen. So we can see our table. Does that look good enough? Does it look like it'll work? Yes. So what cloth modifier is going to do is each one of these points here. So if we go here and add an editable poly, press 1. Each of these points here, the red points, is going to be given a weight. So it goes between 0 and 1. If the weight's 1, it'll fall really heavy, like a piano falling. But if we give it a weight of 0.001, it'll slowly fall like a feather kind of thing. So we can give each one of these points a weight, and it'll slowly fall until it hits the table. Then it'll try to curve around it. So if we look at this, these points here and these points here will bend around it, but it won't look very good. It'll be all square and blocky. And how many tablecloths have you seen like that? So let's add some more segments to it here. So if we go back to our plane here, we don't need the editable poly no more, so we can just delete that. So let's see, let's make this right first. 120, there we go. Let's make it squared, may as well. We've got a round table, there we go. So let's mess with the segments. So we've got 4x4, but that'll be really blocky. 8x8, still a bit blocky. Let's try 20x20, that'll look it better. You could have this all the way up to 1,000,000 segments if you like. The more you add, the more realistic it is. Here's a tip, don't add over 100 if you've got a weak computer like mine. It will not go down well. and it will take long enough as it is. So we've got this now, so let's drag it up a bit, alt text to show it. So there, let's colour it something nice. We've got a nice tablecloth, we'll call it blue. So click on your plane and go to the modifier list and press C for cloth. Press it again, cloth. There. So we've added it. You can look through all these if you want, but there's only really two what we actually need. So let's click Object Properties as our first one. So now it gives you properties. You can mess with the forces of each individual object in your scene. So if we click Plane first, well, what's this going to be? We want it to be a cloth, don't we? So if you here, you can either choose what it's going to be. We want this to actually be the cloth. So we've got this, but now we need to provide the collisions of the table compared to the cloth, because it will just fall straight through it. So if we click Add Objects, we'll add all the objects what have got anything to do with the cloth. So you need the cloth in there, all the table and the legs. That's what we're going to add. So just select them all and click Add. There, so we've got them all. So the cloth is selected. What's the cylinder? That's going to be a collision object, isn't it? Right at the bottom. So I usually skip all these cloth properties because I just really want basic cloth. But if you want it to morph and bend around certain angles, you want to use it. So collision object. What else we got? Collision object, number 3, collision object, number 1. So they're all collision objects except that one. There we go. It's the plane of cloth, so it's a cloth. So that's it. Simply done. Click OK and it should be done. If you go back to object properties, because sometimes there is a glitch where it won't save what you've done. So yeah, it saved it this time. So now what we can do, if we set up all our views so you can actually see what's going off. Yeah, we'll use it there. You will see it won't form. So if you click simulate, not local damp, just simulate, you'll see it slowly. Oh, look at that. So as you can see, it's gone through because it's only a thin plane, but as you can see, it's animating it down at the bottom with the keyframes. And you saw it. It is just really cool just to look at it sometimes and just watch it form around the table. So as you can see, if we drag that up, in fact, if we right click, isolate selection, as you can see, it's a tablecloth. It's really cool. And what you can do is you can like go into it, change it to an editable poly, and just like make it even, like drag all these up, delete them, make it like as short as you want. Right click, unisolate. So we've got that. And what you can do is just click it and click erase simulation. We can take it back to the beginning. So let's just look through one of the properties. So we've got all that. So if we click the cloth, let's set the thickness to 1. Let's try it again. So click simulate, see if it stops it going through. It still goes through the table, but we can sort that another day. So that's it if we just click cancel there. So that'll just keep flying and flying and flying. So that's it for a basic cloth tutorial. In a future tutorial we'll look over adding wind to it, so it like blows in the wind, so it'll look really, really cool. But that's it for a basic one. I hope you liked it, and see you next time.